Scenes, put some music on. Let's check for the live feed. Ah, yes. Just waiting for the feed to come up. There we go. Well, I'm hoping it's coming up. It's not coming up yet. Is it coming up for you, Birdine?
Yes, it's starting to come up.
Lovely. Super duper. There we go. Lovely. Looking forward to kick-off. Yeah. Bow, wow, wow, wow. And there we are. Let's turn the music off. Right. Well, hello everybody. Oi oi people. It's a Tuesday morning, folks, here in the UK anyway. It's just after 8:45 and we are live. We're live with Emma Brambell today. I'll introduce Emma in a moment. We're spreading the love, folks. We're spreading the love. And we're streaming out on LinkedIn. We're streaming out on YouTube. We're streaming out on 2 Facebook groups. We're streaming out on Twitter, we hope. Ta-da! All of that technology. So yeah, love it all hangs together. And we're always a bit worried, is he going to hang together? And it seems like it's hanging together so far, so good. So, you know, whether it's morning or afternoon or evening for you, welcome to this week's Leaderslive breakfast show. And so today, my guest today is the lovely Emma Brambell, CEO of a new startup business, My Perfect Neon. Morning, Emma. How you doing, Emma?
I'm very well, Andrew. Very well.
Brilliant. Good. So lovely to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Perfect manners. I like that. Well, thank you for having me. So Emma and I, we're going to chat about the importance of, if you do what you love, you can sell it, because people buy you, right? People buy from people and what you stand for. And I think My Perfect Neon is a perfect description of that particular type of mantra. So, you know, Emma's very excited and proud of her new business. It's highly creative, folks. And she makes bespoke neon signs with a difference. And there's something about these that has created so much of a buzz. And so we'll be showcasing some of these today so that you can see, you know, the creative spirit that goes into Emma's stuff. And we're really excited about that. So, yeah, that's where we're going today. I'll come back to you just in a tick, Emma. Just bear with me. So, Syed this morning, let's just see if I can bring the comments up this morning. So, Syed says, good morning, Andrew and Emma. Thank you, Syed.
Yeah.
Brilliant to see you again. Great. Well, at least we know the comments are working this morning. They weren't working last week, which is a bit of a pain, so I had to do it manually. Now, this morning, we also have Birdine Hugo in the room today. Now, Birdine is my new moderator. Let's just bring the scene up with Birdine. Say hello, Birdine. How you doing?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing well. Thanks, Andrew.
Great. So this Birdine is our new moderator. Welcome to her. Birdine will be helping us to look after the comments this morning, so I don't miss the comments as they stream through. So please give us lots of comments, and we'll come back to Birdine from time to time, you know, as we're going to look at the comments. So we'll see you later in a while. See you in a while, crocodile, Birdine. So just bring up the other scene. Lovely. Okay. So quick teaser, folks. You know what? We've all heard of that midlife crisis, right? Well, I'm hoping so. And that might mean simply buying a sports car. And actually, as I said in the trailer yesterday, mine's in the garage. And, you know, or it could be going part-time at work, or, you know, planning to retire early. You know, these are some of the things that people do in midlife crisis. And for some people, you know, it might mean something more profound, like reinventing themselves through a career change, perhaps. Others may experience a significant life change or a transformational aha moment. Or indeed all of these things together that leads us to reevaluating what's important in life. And Emma's story is no exception to that. She'll come on to in a moment. So we'll explore Emma's story and the lessons she learned in starting at My Perfect Neon. And, the questions we're going to kind of cover today is, look, is it ever too late to start a new journey in life, folks? Question mark. Why is the phrase, is this all that there is in life? Why is that so powerful to make change? And, how do we go about having the courage to do something beautiful to make the world better and pay the bills? All this and a whole lot more today, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to see some of the examples of Emma's signs as we go along. So put all that lot together, folks, and what do we got? Bibbidi bobbidi boo. There we go. I wonder where that comes from. So, look, if you don't know me, I'm Andrew Jenkins. As always, we love to interact. We love to engage with you. We want you to chat with us. So please start hammering the comments and the likes and the thumbs up. We love those little thumbs up. As silly as it sounds, they keep us motivated too, folks. So keep the comments going. Birdie will pick them up. Don't be shy. Please subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter as well. I'll add the link in the comments, the LinkedIn thread as we go after this session. And please let me know if our audio is coming through too. So Maria Jeffers, good morning to you, says, I bought horses at 40. Well, there you go. I thought you said you brought the horses in. You brought all 40 of them in. So great. Yeah, that's great. I like that, Maria. And Sarah Hughes says, morning, Andrew and Emma. Looking forward to this morning's topic. Thank you very much. Sarah, great to see you this morning. Actually, Sarah Hughes, this is Sarah Hughes here. She'll be online with me next week. We'll talk more about Sarah. We'll shout out Sarah's session for next week a bit later. So thanks for turning up. Right, back to you, Emma. Let's just, before we begin, let's give you a round of applause. Cost me a fortune, that crowd, I'll tell you. So, Emma, look, give us a sense of what is the why that you created My Perfect Neon? What's your backstory? Give us some of the backstory, the personal bits to this, the real and personal factors here. Make it real for us.
Okay. Well, I used to be a teacher and worked in secondary education and did that. I retrained at the age of 40. Didn't buy horses, but I retrained at the age of 40 as a teacher because my husband used to be in the army and I knew that the kids were about to go off to school and wouldn't be around all day, so I couldn't have the excuse to go for coffee all the time. And I needed to do something. And of course, I've been out of the business world for 11 years, being stay-at-home mum. And I thought, well, I'm going to retrain. So I retrained as a teacher and really quite enjoyed it. And the last job I had was probably the best teaching job I had. It was a brilliant school, wonderful people I was surrounded with, lovely kids. But it was COVID as well. COVID hit us last year. David lost his job just before COVID picked up its ante. And of course, there's no chance of David being able to find something quickly. Yeah. So we, last summer during COVID, we made a first of our many big life-changing decisions, which was to sell our house.
Wow.
And in order to downsize, to get to the point where we weren't being driven by the mortgage payment. It was more about working to enjoy our money rather than it feeding a massive mortgage and paying the bills. So we decided to do that. And David at the same time decided that he was going to set up his own business, consultancy business as well. So that was the first element of it all. And then the house, we were trying to buy a house and it all kept falling through, but the house we were selling was selling. So it was February this year and the final house we were trying to go for fell through for a variety of reasons. And 3 days later, we were completing on our sale of our family home. So I said, look to David, I said, why don't we just move up to Leamington Spa, move back in with my parents. Wow. And they've got a little 2-bedroom flat at the back of the house. And I said, we can take stock and go from there. And it was okay to do that because we were still in lockdown, so I was virtual teaching from my laptop in wherever. And anyway, we got back here. My mother had dementia, and I didn't really understand how advanced it was, and also wasn't really fully aware of how much my sister was doing to support mum and to support dad. We had carers, but it was a lot more drastic than I had really grasped. I think to a certain extent to be shielded from the the sort of nature of mum's dementia.
Yeah.
So within 2 weeks, I'd made the decision that I would leave teaching.
Wow.
And that I needed to be in Leamington, I needed to be with my mum. And I told my school, who are absolutely amazing, and allowed me to weekly commute, but only to be in school for 3 days, to teach from home on a Monday and a Friday. And so my last teaching day was beginning of July, and mum died at the end of August, on the 31st of August.
Right.
And in the process of mum dying, my sister and I were with her for literally next to her, sleeping next to her for 10 days.
Gosh.
And she died surrounded by us. And you can't put a price on that privilege of being with your mother or a loved one when they move from this world to the next.
Yeah.
And that's when it really came home to me that there is more to life than earning money just to pay the bills.
The mortgage
Yes.
tokens. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I know. Yes, you've got to earn money. We can't be completely ridiculous about this. You've got to have some sort of income coming in. But you, as my mother used to say, you cut your cloth according to your means.
I like that.
And it's about having that bravery, that courage to say, take myself off out of the rat race. I'm coming off that treadmill. Yes, it's going to involve major life changes. You know, maybe the Seychelles is going to have to wait a few years.
Just a tad.
Not that I've ever been to the Seychelles, but, you know, just those. It's about, you know, you downsize on every single level, but at the same time, you are getting back a life that is literally priceless.
I
Literally.
love that. Literally priceless.
Literally
And, you know, I was going to
priceless.
ask you the question, is the phrase, you know, is this all there is? You know, why is that so powerful to help us make a life change? You know?
Yeah. And I think, you know, I think COVID has opened our eyes, our eyes a lot to what is important in life. It's given us the opportunity to reevaluate
Hasn't it?
our, not take things for granted necessarily. Be brave and say, do you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. No. And if that means I've got to, you know, take a step back, or I've got to say, right, you know, I can't spend that kind of money. I've got to have a smaller house, or I've got to get rid of the posh car, whatever. If you can make that decision and have the balls to do it, it's
The courage,
transformational.
Wonderful. Yeah. So, I mean, that it just goes to show, doesn't it? You know, it is never too late to start a new business venture, is it, Emma? And you are, you know, you're a living, breathing model for that whole thing, a reevaluation of life. You know, a number of things culminated together to create you know, it's almost like warning signs on the motorway, isn't it? You pass the first one, you might ignore it, and then there's another bright light, and there's another one after that, and the signs where we're shining brightly to tell you, look, you know, we need to take drastic action here and make a life change. And life isn't just all about the mortgage tokens.
No, it's not. And I think life is life is an adventure. Life is an opportunity. Every single day is a day, an opportunity for you to make a difference in the world. And I took the experience of my mother, you know, who was a life and soul of the party, a beautiful woman, super intelligent, an avid reader, and, you know, struck by this foul, cruel disease of dementia. We think she had it when she was about 80. She died, she was 83 when she died. And she would be able to have looked back on her life saying she lived it to the full. And I thought, I am not going to get to a point where, you know, I'm not going to be sat when the moment comes saying, I wish I'd done that. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. No thanks.
Yeah. So you've taken the bull by the horns and go for it. And sided from says, be brave, hashtag be brave. I like that. Brilliant. So yeah, there is something about that, isn't there? You know, that and that whole thing about having the courage, you said, to do something different, not just to pay the mortgage, but to reevaluate life and figure out what's important for you. And you know,
and not being proud, and I mean pride as one of the deadly sins. Not proud of what you do, but allowing pride to stop you from doing something. You say, well, I couldn't possibly give up that, or I couldn't possibly stop doing that. You know, what would the neighbours think? What would my family think? You know, what would, you know, people I know, they think I failed. That's pride, and that's one of the sins, one of the deadly sins that you've got to be really careful of, because it gives you a false sense of what you're doing, and you need to stop.
Yeah, I remember talking about people who influence you as well. Around taking the courage to do that.
Yeah.
You need the support of other people around you. Clearly, you had the support of David, your husband, and other people around you. I remember saying to my dad that I was going to give up my full-time job at 3i Venture Capital Company, which they pay me a lot of money. Really enjoyed working there, but I'd had my time, right? And I wanted to work for myself, and I wanted to create a new business. And my dad said, wait, what? So, you've got 3 kids. Yeah. You've got a mortgage. Yeah. You've got a retirement to pay for. Yeah. And you're going to give a secure job up just to go and follow, and he didn't really understand what I was doing, because I was going to become a management consultant, or go into the coaching world and develop people, and he just couldn't get his head around that at all. And he was kind of saying, well, look, if he had the last word, as he always did, and he said, look, I don't agree with what you're doing at all, Andrew, but if it doesn't work out, you go and get yourself a proper job. And he always used to say to me, you haven't got a proper job, but I said to my dad all the time, look, I'm earning more than I was when I was doing a proper job, so why can't I do what I'm doing here? So, Raj Vakari says nice. So thank you for that. Okay. So, look, Emma, let's you talked about the courage of doing something beautiful to make the world better, or that's my phrase. You talked about the courage.
Yes.
And I'm hooking that, doing something beautiful to make the world better and still pay the bills. Talk to us a little bit about that. You've got you've created this company called My Perfect Neon.
Yeah.
And I just want to give us a taste of what's so the why behind this. Why is this so important to you? Let me just move on to a slide for you. So this is an example of one of your signs here. With your lovely husband here, David, who's a mate of mine too. So I woke up waiting to kiss you. Tell us about that story there.
Well, I woke up wanting to kiss you. Well,
it says it all, doesn't it?
It's a phrase of mine.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love neon. I mean, neon is one of the hottest trends, and it's gorgeous. It gives you a beautiful glow in your house.
Doesn't it?
It's wall art. I know it's not necessarily everybody's bag, but it certainly is mine.
Yeah.
And I wanted a neon. I've got another one actually. It's in the hall. It says "The kiss was beautiful."
The kiss was beautiful.
So, exactly. So I'm obviously just blowing smoke up my husband's beautiful whatever. But these are things that I think about my husband, that I woke up wanting to kiss him, and that his kiss is beautiful. But anyway, so it was our 25th wedding anniversary in February, and of course we couldn't celebrate it because of COVID. And we ended up having a big party in August in the garden, and I got this sign designed and made, and this is a photo op behind underneath it, and I put it up on Facebook, as you do, and I got inundated by my friends saying that sign is amazing, I want one, and that's how it started. So
that is brilliant. So hang on a minute. Let's just pause on a minute. So this sign has spawned your growing empire.
Well, growing something. I don't know whether it's an empire yet, but we can dream big, can't we?
We can absolutely. I'm teasing. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is exactly that. And then I would sit and I'd design these signs. I found somebody that can make them for me, because the production side of it, I can learn. I am going to learn how to do them, but I'll be very clunky, and it's going to take a while to learn it. But I've got people that make them for me very, very quickly and very efficiently and very, very, very well as well.
Brilliant.
So it started, and then David always said to me that the day you sell a sign to somebody you don't know is the day that you are in business. And that happened at the beginning of September. Somebody asked me to design a sign that said "fabulous," and I did, and she bought it, and so it began. So I've done all sorts of things now. I've done logos for companies. I've done the cabin bar business. Actually, is a big business. Again, that's something that spawned out of COVID. People can't go to the pub, so they're building bars in their garden. And I advertise a lot on their social media pages. Yeah. So I've done lots and lots of bar signs for these cabin bars, all sorts of weird and wonderful things. And they've all got little stories behind them. People said, well, I'm calling my bar this because of X, Y, Z, and I want a sign.
I want a sign. I love that. So, a star was born through neon, just through neon. And, you talk about a trend, I was looking at, because I see this, I'll talk about my sign in a minute that you made for me. And that beautiful purple and that sort of, that the bright colours of these things are just
Yeah.
phenomenal, aren't they? And you
Yeah.
know, I was watching Strictly Come Dancing the other day, and then It Takes Two on the weekdays every day at 6:30, and they've got lots of neon and stuff like that. You can tell it's trending really well, particularly these kind of colours. So that's really interesting. Now, you talk us through. You know, you talked about the personal side to this. You know,
Yeah.
how do your signs help turn people's own special life moments into a tangible reality for them? You know, what do you do at Perfect Neon to do that? You might want this might be helpful. Is this where we're going next, Emma, with these? Talk to us about these.
Well, I mean, these are the epitome, really, of why My Perfect Neon aims to be just that little bit different.
Yeah.
I mean, there are lots and lots of neon retailers online,
Right.
and you can go on these websites and you can type in the words you want, and you can choose a font, you can choose the colour, and then add to cart, all sorted. What I want to do is be able to say, you know, this neon is going to be totally personal to you. And so it's not just about a regular fonts that anybody can access and colours and things like that. It's actually about potentially your handwriting. So the top one there, DJ Dingy, this is what's, again, talk about serendipity. So it's taken me to the new level of my business. I was approached a couple of months ago by a lady called Jane, and she wanted a sign that said DJ Dingy on it. And so I said, fine, great, okay. So I did some little mock-ups for her, and I messaged them to her, and I said, do you like this font or that font? And in the process of that conversation, she told me her story, which was that her son Callum was killed in August, and it was a freak motorcycle accident.
Oh dear.
And his nickname was Dingy, and he used to customize his motorcycle gear and his trainers with green, orange and blue. And his sister, Jane's daughter, Imogen, is 21 and wants to be a DJ. And when she succeeds, she's going to call herself DJ Dingy. So I said, have you got any handwriting? Have you got Callum's handwriting at all anywhere?
Genius stroke. Love it.
Yeah. So she sent me a picture of a message he'd written on the side of his sister's birthday balloon. And I picked out the D, the J, the D, all of it. And that is his handwriting. DJ D.
So that's really personal, isn't it? What a great memory.
Yeah. So there's no other sign like that in the world.
Wow.
And then obviously was able to do it in the different colours. I sent it to Jane, and well, I mean, she was speechless. And the sign has arrived, and she's going to be giving it to her daughter for Christmas.
Lovely. Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. And what a
so
great memory. Yeah.
I know. So that was what started. You know, I mean, you've got the sign there, cocktails. It's a fairly standard sign.
Yeah.
And you know, you can buy that really anywhere. And you know, that it's great. I've sold quite a few of those signs that say cocktails, and I think it's also important with My Perfect Neon that you do have a stock of signs, and that's I'm about to place a big order today for a variety of different signs, and cocktails will be one of them.
Yeah.
But the one on the right, Stand By Me, so that's one of my love hearts that I've designed. Yes, somebody could copy it. It's not trademarked or anything like that, but it's my love heart. And the words in it are the first dance song for a couple that got married at the end of September. And they got married in a beautiful castle in Ireland. And their wedding song, Stand By Me, that's what they danced to. So I did that sign for them. So that's not just any old sign. That's got a history, that's got a story to it. The one below it, it's going to be a rough night tonight. So that's my mum's handwriting.
Yeah.
And that was one of her sayings. And in fact, actually, when mum said it's going to be a rough night tonight, you knew you were in for a good night. And so again, she was a prolific letter writer. She used to write me lots and lots of letters because we weren't necessarily living in Warwickshire at the time when David and I were travelling around the world. And I traced her handwriting, and it's now a sign, and I'm giving it to my sister for Christmas.
Oh, right. Hope it's not going to ruin the surprise. Brilliant.
So,
Oh, that's lovely. I like that. So that's going to degenerate into a session. I can see that. I'm wondering whether those are the brilliant. So let me just come on.
My main thing is, yes, of course, you can have a cocktail sign. Yes, you can have wine o'clock, whatever. I mean, I can do all of that. It's no problem whatsoever. But it's also about the very, very special sign, that neon, that is a neon on another level.
Isn't it? A neon on another level. I love that. A
Level.
neon
And,
on another level.
I can trace handwriting. I can say, what is your favourite saying? And okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the favourite saying of somebody that you love who's no longer with you. It could be the saying that you use all the time in your family.
Yeah, talking about a saying that we say all the time, let me just come on to one of my own. So this is so this be awesome, folks. I hope you can see that on the screen now. That's Emma designed that for me. Now that comes back to some my history of it comes from Kung Fu Panda. Actually, there's no charge for awesomeness, and that really resonates with my life. Having sort of a difficult start to my adult life, as it were, from quite a difficult childhood, I suppose. Be awesome is something that I really picked up, and it's great to have that as a sign, and I'm proud to have that in my background, and the colours are just fantastic. Yeah. And every time I see it, it just lights me up. So lights me up. Sorry about the pun there. So, folks, look, please interact with us. We want to pick up some of your comments now. So, start to ask us questions, or some stories that you've got. Share with us, Berdine. What's going on at the moment in the chat, Berdine?
So we've got some quite nice comments from David. David said,
"It's a nice shirt."
David. Yeah, so David said that this is a great conversation. There's so much more to business than money in and money out, which is very true.
Yeah, and he goes on to say this, doesn't he, Berdine? Is that right?
Yes.
Love the DJ Dingy story. The message is so much more powerful than just the words. Same with those family sayings. Family sayings are so important. Is there anything else in the chat that's coming up, Berdine?
Yes, Maria left a comment. She said it's very difficult to step out of our comfort zone, but it's very inspirational, Emma.
Thank you.
That's isn't that interesting? It's so tricky to step out of our comfort zone, and that's half the battle, isn't it? That we have to, and the thing that keeps us in our comfort zone is often the fear of doing something different. So often it's not being in the comfort that's one thing, but the second thing is that to get out of the comfort zone, to get to the stretch zone, you've actually got to go through the fear zone first. It's like a double whammy, isn't it?
It is, and this is why go back to one of the very first things that you said at the beginning of this podcast, Andrew.
Yeah.
Do what you love.
Do what you love.
And if you love what you do, then you will succeed. It might take time, and you might have some knockbacks along the way, but as long as you love what you do, then you will be all right.
Yeah, I think that, and it's trusting that will see itself through somehow, because if we're meant to do what we're meant to do, then it will. We might have to go through difficult times, right? And sometimes things get worse before they get better, which is often the case. So your story is it shows that, doesn't it? Your husband lost the job, you then moved house, and then your mum died, and it's like, gosh, it's like dominoes, isn't it? One thing after another, and then suddenly something starts to sprout, doesn't it? And a business idea, it's almost like that light bulb comes down and drops down by the side of it and goes bing.
Yeah, and it's also when you have that time to be able just to contemplate, to reflect, to meditate in a way, that's when your creativity juices are allowed to flow. And if we are still in this little rat run and still in the hamster wheel, you're going on and on and on, and you haven't got time to think. You haven't got time to sit down and say, right, what if I could do something different, what would it be?
If I could do something different, what would it be? And that takes time sometimes to come out. And Sarah says this, great story, Emma. Round of applause. What did you do to plan the marketing, etc.? It's a really good question, and people get really stuck on this. Now, Sarah's a marketing expert here, so that's really why she's coming with that. Which is a great question. Thanks, Sarah. What say you, Emma?
Well, I think probably one of the biggest challenges for me was to get my head around how to put adverts, how to put posts on social media. I mean, honestly, I'm like a little dinosaur really when it comes to things like that. And I found that the most frustrating thing. And
the tech.
which ones do I use? So planning the marketing, I don't think there was any plan, Sarah. I just sort of dived in and gave it a go. And, the very first few posts that I did looked absolutely awful, terrible pictures and ridiculous things that I used to write and things like that. And then my nieces actually were quite good. They're a third of my age. And they said, Emma, your posts look awful. Awful.
Only your friend can say that to you.
And they sort of helped me through. I mean, I still, text with one finger. I can't do that. I'm like, boom, boom, boom. So I don't know. I'm still feeling my way through it, Sarah. I spoke to somebody yesterday who I think is going to be brilliant to help me with my website, because I bought the domain names and all that sort of thing. But I had to set a website up. I haven't got the foggiest. So it's, I started this in August and probably said to myself, do you know what, this is what I'm going to do definitely by about the middle of September. So it's still early days. Next year is going to be my year. At the moment, I'm proving to myself that people do want neons. I do have a story. I do have a USP. I've now got to be able to sort of, get myself out there. Yeah. So I don't know if I've answered your question properly, Sarah. I don't think there was any plan.
Often the plans are written on the back of an envelope, aren't they, sometimes?
Exactly,
but,
exactly.
And yet poor old marketeers tear their hair out over that. You've got to have a decent marketing plan. But it emerges, doesn't it? And, the first iteration of a business might be one thing and you don't know what you don't know, but it does emerge and then the plans come later. David says this, overcoming the fear of change is the big challenge. You dream big, back yourself and go for it. And often it's our inner mind chatter that gets in our way, isn't it? And when you're doing something like what you've done, Emma, did you find that what was your inner mind chatter doing to you at that point? Just casting your mind back to those early days.
To the early days.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I think my biggest insecurity really is, first of all, can I do this? And I thought, no, I can do it. And then I'd say, well, look, I don't want to be just like a little craft business, selling the odd sign here and the odd sign there. And it's about moving from that mindset to, well, no, this can be a website. This can be a national selling business. And I'm determined to do that. And I'm not going to be just somebody that does little pop-ups, or somebody says, I know somebody who could do a neon for you, probably a bit cheaper than somebody else. Let's get in contact with her. I want a more steady thing. I want it to be, something that is slightly different to all the other neon businesses that are out there. And I think that was the biggest challenge for me, was trying to work out what is my USP. And then working out, saying, how do I move from being the metaphorical kitchen table business, crafty business, to something where you've got a decent website, maybe end up with somebody working for me.
Yeah,
and
indeed.
And it's just internal drive, I think, for me, because I'm doing something that I want to do. I've always said that I wanted to work for myself, to have my own business.
And here you are.
Wanting to have a shop that sold beautiful things. Yeah.
And I woke up wanting to do a business. There's another new sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just taking a cue from your other one. Sarah finishes off what you just said. Look, you've done really well. You started so strongly, and it sounds like you've got a plan ahead. Dr. Madeline's just joined us. Hi, everyone. She's coming from South Africa somewhere, I think. So great to see you, Dr. Madeline. So, brilliant. So let's just move on to, let's look at this general signs here. Now, we've covered that one, haven't we? Let's have a look at this one here. Talk us through some of what's going on here.
You haven't done that one. You've just done, the only sign you've done is the I woke up wanting to kiss you. So you could go back a slide.
I thought we did this one. Didn't we do this one?
No, we talked about it earlier.
Yeah, we did. That's right. We talked about it earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, so this one, this here is...
Oh, yes, that's right. We haven't talked about this. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, Yeah. So these are, I mean, you know, the
Yeah.
Cocktails and Dreams one there, that is, you know, obviously the Top Gun film.
Of course.
And, you know, people like that. That's going to be one of my stock signs. Kiss Me Under the Light of 1,000 Stars, top right. That's a sign that I did. Again, it's
Lovely.
a lyric
I
from
like that.
a wedding song for a couple. The ones that have got the measurements on, those are quite interesting, just to show you that part of the process. So somebody comes to me and says, I want these words. And that's a part of the process. I do a little mock-up for them. We look at different fonts. We've got the measurements. And then the next thing that happens is then the sign is produced, and then they get their beautiful sign. I quite like Find Me Where the Wild Things Are. I mean, The Wild Things, it's such a brilliant book.
I love that. Yeah.
I've actually, copied the text there, the sort of handwriting there. So now the PS this time next year we'll be millionaires. That's one of my signs, which I've done for somebody. In fact, actually, it's in the house at the moment because it's going to be a Christmas present for someone's husband. So she doesn't want it yet until nearer the time.
Of course.
That looks great, that sign. PS I Love You. I love the book, quite like the film. The book was better. And actually, it's a saying that my dad would always say to me, P.S. I love you. And I'm sure you can guess where we're going with this one. I got him to do the handwriting. That's not his handwriting. I did it last night with him, and I've traced that. So that sign, P.S. I love you, it's going to be one of my stock signs, but it's going to be in my dad's handwriting.
Oh, that's great. Brilliant. I love that. Again, this whole handwriting theme. You know, you talked about your USP, and what I'm picking up is, look, these signs are very high quality. They're very personally
good
based.
quality.
Yeah. And I know they are, because I can attest to that. They're really superb, high quality. They're very personal to you, which mine is my Be Awesome sign. And they're very bespoke, which, you know, all three of those seem to work well together, you know. So, yeah, interesting. So, and let's move on to, so look, people in the audience, you know, please, please interact with us. You know, if you've got some thoughts, you know, questions for Emma, you know, things that have, you know, meant something to you, you know, share it. You know, let's get some interaction going while we're just sort of wrapping this up at the moment. So there's some other elements where your business is going next, and this is quite interesting. So talk us through some of what's going on here, Emma.
Right. Well, the Love Heart, that's the one that I designed. That's my Love Heart. And that's going to be my logo. That, again, it will be a stock sign.
Yeah.
So that's why that one's up there. I love those angel wings. I've designed them.
They're
I'm going to
gorgeous.
order them today, actually. They're going to start producing, and I've got another shaped wing as well, which would be just in white, or you could have it in pink or whatever. But I'm definitely going to get those angel wings, and I'm going to get them big, you know, 1.2 meters square, so that you can stand underneath it.
Yeah.
And you know, the photo opportunities are absolutely limitless, aren't they? So, I mean, I'd be really interested if people like those wings, because they're important market research there. If you like the wings, tell me that you like the wings.
Give us some feedback, folks. Give us some feedback.
Yeah. Do you like my wings? So Ain't No Stopping Us Now. You know, I think Luther Vandross, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did that song. I know there's quite a few people have done it. So I'm collaborating with another entrepreneur woman, a great friend of mine. She started a business last February called Say It With Songs, and they are streamable greetings cards. So the card at the front has on it, for example, Ain't No Stopping Us Now, and on the back of the card is a QR code, and you scan it and it plays Luther Vandross singing Ain't No Stopping Us Now. We've got the
that's cool.
So she is now a brand. You know, she started off with her cards, now she's doing clothing. It was only a natural step for us to collaborate together to do neon signs. So the samples have arrived. We're launching them at the Spring Fair in January in London, and we've got loads of them. Ain't No Stopping Us Now is one of them, and it will have a QR code on it. So again, you know, it's not just any old neon sign. This neon sign actually plays you the song.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, incredible
technology.
So we're doing that. And then the other thing, so the bottom right there is the Royal Engineers Cat Badge, and I quite fancy doing neon signs for cat badges, and then of course it's only a matter of time before you go to football clubs and so on and so forth. This is a prototype, and we had that made, designed it, had it made, and it's hanging in a friend's garden bar. We gave it as a present to him when he came out the army. And so we're literally just got a couple more things that we've got to submit to the MOD, but we will get the license to produce the signs, because of course all the badges, cat badges, are copyrighted. So I'm going to do that. And so people, that's the huge military network that, these things, again, it's not just a picture. That cat badge means something to people. That means a lot to my husband. He's a Royal Engineer, was a Royal Engineer for 28 years. Yeah. So, that's more than just a picture.
Indeed. It's saying, yeah, absolutely. It's a kind of memory of life and things that happened in our past. Berdine, what's going on in the chat for us? Let's just, in the comments fields, Berdine, just highlight a few what's going on for us, Berdine.
So Sarah said your wings looks fantastic.
Oh.
And then
there we go.
David left you a comment, Andrew. So he said, welcome to my world, Andrew. Never get away with anything.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, brilliant.
And then Paul just said motivation, enthusiasm, determination, and tenacity.
Yeah, and I guess those are some of the attributes that you need to set up something new, isn't it? And nice one, Paul. It's great to see you on the show again, Paul. Great to have you back on. Yeah, interesting. Thank you, everybody, for those comments. Keep them coming in, particularly around those angel wings as well. So give some feedback for Emma. But any other questions you've got would be great. But listen, we could just talk forever, but we're coming to a point where we probably need to start to think about where we're heading and closing off a little bit. I'm just thinking about, Emma, thinking about tips now.
Yeah.
What tips have you got for people, who want to set up a creative business, and if you're anything like, a lot of people's parents will say, well, look, Johnny or little Emma or whatever, as you're growing up, well, creative stuff doesn't pay, you've got to get a proper job. Actually, it's just not true, is it? What tips have you got to set up a creative business that, that you might be afraid of to begin with, but give us some hints and tips, Emma. What were the things that helped you to motivate you to do this and to push the boundaries?
Yeah. Well, the first thing was being able to have the time to let creativity flow. So I think, first thing is if you're thinking about doing something like this, give yourself some time, even if that's just, sitting in the sitting room and just closing your eyes and letting things just mull.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second thing is just do something that you love.
Yeah.
Do what you love. Don't just do something that you think's going to make you money. If you want a shop that sells, I don't know, little trinkets, whatever, then do it. Do it. Don't be put off by what things that you feel you ought to do that are going to make you money. Because if you love what you do, that comes through you when you're talking to customers.
Totally, and I get that.
They buy into it, not because they're schmucks or anything like that. They want to buy something, and they want to buy something that's beautiful or whatever. And if they're being sold it beautifully by someone, you're more likely to buy it. And you can only do that if you love it.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say only do what you love. And if you don't love what you do, then you're not doing the right thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
And and then the final thing I would say is be brave. Just do it.
Be brave. Think big, be brave, right? I like that. Be brave. So mull it over in your mind, do what you love, be brave, think big. Those are the hints and tips for today. Lovely. Okay. Now, thank you for that. I'm just looking at where we're going next. So we've got some next steps. You've got a website coming, you've got collaboration with other people, you've got streamable t-shirts, we've got cat badges and football clubs and things all yet to come. So, there's a big plan coming. And there's a couple of comments here which I really like. Dr. Madeline Gomes says, I love the wings. So there you go. There's a bit more feedback there. Maria Jeffers, I totally agree. Genuine passion comes through. She's spot on. Yeah, well done. Yeah, absolutely. And whether that's horses or signs, so...
Exactly.
Yeah, indeed. Davis comes out with a great question here, and we've got a bit of time to just briefly explore this. How do customers find you then, Emma? You know, if you haven't got a website yet, I presume you've got a Facebook page and stuff like that.
Yes, I've got Facebook and I've got Instagram, and both of those at My Perfect Neon. So you can find me that way, quite straightforward. Yeah. The website will be up and running probably February by the time we finished, tweaking it. And then that'll be the next thing. And then, so at the moment, Facebook and Instagram.
Fine, yeah, and easy to find. So super. Thank you for that. So look, folks, I hope you found that a useful topic. Thank you, Emma, for giving us your time today, your lovely neon signs, and just the whole heartfelt story of how you started that. And Sarah just pops in here and just kind of says, look, people really do buy into passion and story. That's picking up from where Maria was. So I completely agree. Yeah. So thanks again, Emma, for your interesting perspective. Folks, I hope you found that a useful topic and further food for thought for you. And by the way, here's an important point. By the way, Emma is offering a 15%, that's a 15% discount for the first 5 participants who order and pay for a bespoke sign by the end of next week. So that gives you a bit of time. But get your skates on, folks. So you can use the comments field to indicate your interest now to arrange a more detailed chat with Emma to help you design your sign, and have a chat with her and see where it goes. We want to help you right now. So Maria Jeffers just says, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you, Emma. Before I get on to what's going on next week, a quick word on what's my purpose and my why with Leaderslive. I get asked that question from time to time, and it all starts with the idea and the passion. And we've talked about this again today. You are more than you think, and all of my guests will come on this show talking about you are more than you think in different ways, different expressions. And so Leaderslive, this show that I'm doing, is freely available. It's I want to entertain, edutain is probably a better word, an expression of you are more than you think, and anyone can join in and enjoy taking part in these extraordinary conversations. I think we had an extraordinary conversation with Emma today, and the maxim of what I'm doing here is I to the power of we. We're better together. It's the people factor, folks. So if you're interested in this, then my other commercial offerings I can help you with is you can book me for inspiring keynote speaking at your company events. I talk about growth mindset, I talk about high performance, I talk about business change. My company PDX, that's there to boost business success through developing high performance teams and leadership programs and executive coaching as well. And lastly, I run I co-run a subscription-based community called Inspired CEOs. David Brambell's part of that, who's on the show today. So, if you are an SME CEO, I invite you to come along and try it out, and see how we collaborate to play that bigger game in our business lives. Please contact me directly for any more information, and I'll put the links in the link shortly. Now, next week, folks, we have Sarah Hughes in the room. And just before I go there, there's a few comments just coming in right now. So David Brambell says, I completely agree with Sarah's Hughes. Stories are so much more powerful than mere information. Dr. Madeline says, I love that, Andrew. We are all more than we believe. Absolutely. We are Canis, starting something new. Brilliant. So next week we have Sarah Hughes, the lovely Sarah Hughes. I'll just bring up her photograph here. Here she is, talking to us this morning. Sarah, this will be Tuesday the 21st of December at 8:45, folks, usual time. And we will be having an upbeat session with the founder of Boost Business Growth. And Sarah and I will chat about becoming your best you. And we have some practical ways and some takeaways for you as well, folks. So how do we become our best you, folks, is where we're kind of heading next week. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you will be too. So it only remains to be said, be there or be square, folks. That's all for now. We'll say goodbye. It's a goodbye from me, and it's a good day from Emma. Thank you very much, folks. Cheers for now. Oh, and a good day from Birdin as well. Where is she? And a good day from all of us. Thank you very much, folks. Enjoy your day or your evening.
Bye.
Bye for now. Cheers for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.